Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I'm really glad you've tuned in because today I've got some crucial and exciting news that could end up putting some extra cash in your pocket. Yes, you heard that right, money in your pocket. Now, it's been a few years since we first heard about stimulus checks, but believe it or not, the IRS is still sending out more unclaimed stimulus payments. Some people didn't receive all of their stimulus checks or maybe none at all, and now is the time to get the money you might have missed. If you're still waiting for one, especially if you've moved, changed bank accounts, or just didn't get around to filing taxes in the past, you could be entitled to these payments. The good news is that you still have a chance to claim yours, and February 2025 is your key opportunity. So let's talk about what exactly is going on with these unclaimed stimulus checks, why you may have missed them, and most importantly, how you can claim them and finally get that check that's owed to you. Stick around because this could make a huge difference for your finances this year. Before we dive into the details of how to claim these unclaimed stimulus checks, let's do a quick refresher on what stimulus checks actually are and why they were introduced in the first place. Back in 2020, the world was rocked by the COVID-19 pandemic. Businesses shut down, people were out of work, and the economy took a massive hit. In response, the U.S. government introduced stimulus checks, which were direct payments to individuals and families to help them get through the toughest time of the pandemic. The government hoped that these direct payments would help cover basic living expenses, such as rent, utilities, groceries, and medical costs. The first stimulus check, which amounted to $12 per eligible individual, was issued in April 2020, shortly after the pandemic was declared a national emergency. This was followed by a second round of checks in late 2020, where people received $600 each, and a third round in March 2021, which paid out $1,400 per eligible person. These checks were designed to be a lifeline to those struggling financially as a result of the pandemic, and their purpose was to stimulate the economy by getting money directly into the hands of consumers. However, not everyone received their checks right away, and some people didn't receive them at all. Others may have received smaller payments than they were entitled to, which brings us to the current situation. Even though the initial stimulus checks were sent out years ago, the IRS has identified a significant number of people who either didn't receive their full amount or didn't get anything at all. The agency is now working to correct those missed payments, and it's in your best interest to take action now before it's too late. This is why the IRS is sending out unclaimed stimulus checks this February. If you haven't claimed yours yet, you have an opportunity to do so. Now, you might be asking yourself, why didn't I receive my stimulus check in the first place? I thought I was eligible. Well, there are a variety of reasons why some individuals might not have received their payments, and understanding these reasons can help clarify why you might have missed out. One of the primary reasons people didn't get their stimulus checks was because they simply didn't file taxes in 2020 or 2021. The IRS used people's tax returns to determine who was eligible for the payments. If you weren't required to file taxes because you didn't meet the income threshold, the IRS may not have had your information on file, and thus, they couldn't send you a stimulus check. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, this is one of the main reasons why the IRS is now sending out these unclaimed checks. Another issue many faced was outdated or incorrect banking information. If you changed your bank account, moved to a new address, or simply didn't update your information with the IRS, there's a chance the payment couldn't be sent to you correctly. The IRS used the information they had at the time, whether it was from previous tax filings or the last known address, and that may have resulted in checks being sent to the wrong place. The next question you're probably wondering is, how can you claim your missing stimulus check? Well, there are a few steps you need to take to ensure that you receive your payment. Here's what you need to do. First, check your eligibility. If you didn't get your full stimulus payments or if you didn't receive any payments at all, you may be eligible to claim the recovery rebate credit when you file your tax return. This is the most important step because it's the way the IRS is handling missing payments. If you missed a stimulus check, the recovery rebate credit will allow you to claim the full amount of the missing funds on your 2024 tax return. Next, you'll need to file a tax return. Even if you don't normally file taxes because your income is too low or because you don't have to, you still need to file in order to claim the missed stimulus payments. This is one of the ways the IRS is making sure that all eligible individuals get their checks. The IRS uses your tax return information to process these payments, so filing your return is crucial. Once you've filed your taxes, the IRS will process your claim, and if you're eligible, they'll send you the payment. If you're owed money, you should receive your check or direct deposit within a few weeks, depending on how you filed your taxes. It's important to keep an eye on your mail or bank account for the payment to arrive. In addition to filing your taxes, you should also use the IRS Get My Payment tool. This tool will allow you to track your stimulus payment status and see if the IRS has issued your payment. If your check was already sent, you'll be able to see when and how it was sent. If you haven't received it, you can use the tool to find out if there's a delay or an issue with your payment. Lastly, make sure all of your information is up to date. If you've changed your address, phone number, or banking information, make sure that the IRS has your correct details. The IRS will use the information on your tax return to issue your payment, so if anything has changed, be sure to update it. Now that you know how to claim your unclaimed stimulus check, it's important to note the deadlines for doing so. The IRS has set a deadline for filing your 2024 tax return in order to claim your missed stimulus payments, and that deadline is April 15, 2025. If you don't file your taxes by this date, you may miss out on claiming the recovery rebate credit and receiving your stimulus check. So, make sure you get your taxes filed as soon as possible to avoid losing out on this opportunity. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go over a few common questions people have about this process. One question I often get is, what if I didn't file taxes before, can I still claim my payment? The answer is yes. Even if you didn't file taxes before, you can file now and claim your missing stimulus payments through the recovery rebate credit. Another common question is, what if I don't have a bank account or I don't want direct deposit? Don't worry, the IRS will still send you your payment by check if you don't have a bank account. Just make sure your address is up to date so they can send it to you. So, there you have it. If you missed out on your stimulus payments, the IRS is sending out unclaimed checks, and February 2025 is your chance to claim yours. Make sure you follow the steps we talked about. File your taxes, check your eligibility, and make sure your information is correct. Don't wait too long because the deadline is fast approaching. If you found this video helpful, please hit that thumbs up button and share it with anyone who might benefit from this information. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates on financial news, government programs, and ways to keep more money in your pocket. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.